Good afternoon. I'm happy that you could join me again today. We're going to be covering Lesson 21, 22, 23, and 24. But first, let's go to the Manual for Teachers. In Chapter 7, it says, "Should healing be repeated?" Well, this is a continuation from Chapter 6 where it asks, "Is healing certain?" If you believe healing is certain, then you obviously do not have to repeat it. If the patient is healed, what remains to heal him from? Now, being a teacher of God, we have only one course to follow. We must use our reason to tell ourselves that we have given the problem to God, the one who cannot fail, and must recognize that our own uncertainty is not from love, but from fear. And in the text, Chapter 6 covers the lessons of love. Lessons are taught to have more joy, not necessarily on how to avoid situations. And these are lessons that will last us forever. And the first and foremost is to give all to all. You know, whenever you realize that what you give is you're giving to yourself, and you have an abundance to give. So give all that you can. Your knowledge, your attention, your inspiration, anything that you have that you feel that you can give, do that. And the second is to have peace, teach peace, to learn it. You know, we want to teach other people how to be peaceful, but if we don't know how to be peaceful ourselves, then we need to teach the peace that we want to learn. And the third is to be vigilant only for God and His kingdom. Now, these lessons teach not only that we can be love in action, but that we must be love in action. So starting with Lesson 21, it says, "I am determined to see things differently." We cannot pick and choose what we want to see differently here, and Jesus wants us to focus specifically on our anger. Jesus is now helping us realize that before we can say, "I am determined to see things differently," we have to understand our thoughts, which is why He asks us to get in touch with them. In other words, vision can come only by undoing our thoughts of anger or correcting our mistaken decision for the ego's thought. Saying no to the ego is the way of learning to see differently. Lesson 22 says, "What I see is a form of vengeance." Well, today's idea accurately describes the way anyone who holds attack's thought in his mind must see attack in the world. Having projected our anger onto the world, we see vengeance about us that can strike us. And as you do this lesson, try to identify the fear and anxiety that arises as you begin to think about what Jesus is telling us. Remember that Jesus is always talking to us when we are open and receptive to that healing spirit of Christ within. And He's telling us, you see only the perishable. You see nothing that is real and that will last. You see nothing that is real because what is real cannot be destroyed. What we see is a form of vengeance. Then ask, is this the world I really want to see? The answer is yes, because the truth sets us free from our illusions in order to choose again. Lesson 23 says, "I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts." Every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. It is with your thoughts then that you must work. If your perception of the world is to be changed, there is inner work to be done. You see the world that you have made, but you do not see yourself as the image maker. The idea for today introduces the thought that you are not trapped in the world you see, because its cause can be changed. This change requires first that the cause be identified and then let go so that it can be replaced. All causes rest as a decision made in our mind, and this is the first step in forgiveness. And the Course in Miracles is all about forgiveness. In Lesson 24, I do not perceive my own best interest. I do not perceive my own best interest. Jesus is asking here that we trust Him enough to suspend all our beliefs and then say that with sincerity. I do not perceive my own best interest. When we do that, it is determined by our perception of a situation. And that perception may be wrong. It is inevitable then that we will not serve our own best interest. The message of this lesson is that if we are truly honest, we would recognize the contradictory nature of much of our desires and goals. This is the inevitable. It is quite inevitable when we recognize and consider the possibility of having non-conflicted goals, and when we do not recognize our own best interest, then we let go and let the intuitive knowingness within us, as the Christ self, lead us, feed us, and restore us in a way that brings peace and harmony to all that we encounter. And this does it for this week. Next week, I look forward to sharing with you Lesson 25, 26, 27, and 28. You have a wonderful week, and know that you are light, you are love, and you are wisdom walking. God bless you. Until then, know that I love you.